everybody. How are you all? This is Alan here, and I need to do a hive inspection. So we have some rain coming, and it's about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and they're saying that the rain is going to be coming from possibly tonight over tomorrow, maybe very heavy falls, some storms coming through. And I need to go into my beehive. I need to do a few things to see how the girls are all going, and see how the queen's going and if I can find her. So what I thought I'd do, just a quick video on how to put on a bee suit. So basically, here I am, t-shirt and shorts. That's all I'm going to need. If it was really hot, I'd just be wearing a singlet. But I generally wear something that's going to cover me, at least if I get stung. But the suit should take care of that. I also have some medication, some antihistamines, which you can buy over the counter, which I'll take. So if I do get stung, which happens sometimes, but that's okay. That's part of the parcel of being a beekeeper. I can take the medication and it will just get rid of the swelling. So let's talk about this. So I've got here is my bee suit, and it's a little bit loved. So the other thing which I'll say is that I've already put all my equipment outside. So I've got all that ready to go. I've got this door behind me open in case I get chased by the bees. And I've got the side door open near where the hive is, where I'll be doing my bee inspection. So it's just in case, depending on the mood of the bees. And sometimes, generally speaking, the bees are fine when you do this, but sometimes they might get a bit angry. So I need to go into the hive. I just want to see if they're making honey. I want to see how many broods going on, how much brood is there, so how many babies are being born or being in the way of being processed. I want to remove a varroa mite stripe. So varroa is it's like a parasite that lives on the bees, but I can talk more about varroa later. Varroa came into Australia probably about 2-3 years ago, and it's been in the States and it's been overseas, but it's really changed the way that we do beekeeping. So I put a varroa strip in when I bought the hive. So when I bought the bees about 2 months ago, I put a varroa stripe in. So basically it's a chemical. And so I want to make sure that that chemical's gone now, because the bees won't need it. And and they don't need that varroa anymore, because if there's any varroa, that would have killed them. So but I can talk more about that later. So this is all you do. So I've got my thing here. I'm just going to have a quick look for any breaks in the suit. So you can see here, I don't know if you can see with this lighting here, but I had a few issues where the lining here became split. So what I've done to patch it is I've patched it with, you can go to the local hardware shop in shops in Australia. You must have them overseas. And you just buy like an adhesive. It's like it's like fly screen door. So it's like for the fly screen, you just buy adhesive. It comes in a tape, and you just stick some on both sides. And what that does, it just reseals it till I can get a new suit. So often what happens is that when a bee stings you, it releases a pheromone. So pheromones are quite common in the bee colony. And there's a pheromone in the bee sting, and what that means is that if you get stung, that pheromone says to the other bees, "Go get him. Here he is. He's the enemy." So, because I'm about to go into their kitchen. You know what I mean? I'm about to go. It's like when you're doing a hive inspection. You're not just like knocking at the door. You're actually breaking and entering. You know what I mean? Like you're actually getting in there. With the tools. There are native bees that don't sting, which I'll talk about some other time. I don't have native bees yet, but I'm thinking of getting some. But I can talk about that later. A friend of mine sent me a picture of a native, what's called a bee hotel, and that's for native bees. But native bees, they don't sting. They don't sting in Australia. I will check that what's happening with native bees in the States when I get around to it. But in Australia, They don't sting. They're smaller than the regular honeybees. And in Australia, I think there's about something like about 250 different species or variety of native bees. So if you're with native bees, you don't even need a bee suit because they're not going to sting you. You don't need it. But with the honeybees, you do. So having said all of that, let's go. So I'm just looking for any breaks in this, and I can't really see any. I have checked a bit before, so I'm just going to clamp her on in. So basically, like I said, the first thing that you need to do is make sure that all the equipment that you need is outside. So make sure that you've got all the equipment ready to go. I'm going to pop this on, and then I'm going to pop this on. Here we go. So, okay. All right, so I'm going to zip him up here. So zip him all the way. Now I've got shoes and socks. So it's a good idea to get shoes that cover your feet, obviously. You can even use boots, because sometimes the bees can get in here as well. I've got black socks, but they're a little bit thick. They should be okay. So I'm just going to pop these socks on. And up here, if you can see. And then there's a little strap under here. That's going to go over there. I'm going to do the same with my other foot. So he goes like this. And if you're doing bee inspections, it's a really good idea to do them when it's still. Like if you're doing it's not ideal to go into a beehive when it's windy, because the wind, depending on the temperature, it can upset the bees and cool down the hive as well. So bees like to have it in Celsius between, I think roughly they like to keep their hive about 37 degrees Celsius. So I think that's roughly about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere like that. So that's their kind of their running temperature. That's what they like to keep it at. So if it's a cold day and you're wrapping up your hive, you want to make it, you don't want to do it unless you have to on a cold day, because you're kind of upsetting the internal heating, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to keep going. So I've got my shoes here. So I'm just going to pop these on. And in I go. So these go, so this goes under, right? And then this goes over here. So over we go. And then, so that's all going to clamp her up in there. So hopefully I shouldn't be that long. So I'm going to try and do this fairly quickly if I can. Because I only have a few little things I want to do. And generally speaking, with going into the hive, once again, guys, I've got my strap on under my foot, under my sock, and this goes over the top. I generally will try and keep these hive inspections as brief as possible. So I just want to, like I said, I want to keep everything organized. So that's how you do this. Goes on like this. Now I've got gloves here as well, which I'll put on. I'll stop the video, but I can put the gloves on. Yeah. Now the other thing, which is a really good idea, when you're doing a bee inspection, pop on a cap, because what the cap does when you put this on the top, it stops this part from going close to your face. So if the bees come on here, if it's without the cap, this can actually be touching my face, and they can actually sting you through this. So if you put a cap on, it creates a brim that stays around the top of the bee suit, and that's how that works. That stops the bees from getting too close. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to zip up the side, and zip up the side again. I've got like a little flap down the front that goes down here. So the idea is so the bees can't get in. I'm just going to check part of my stomach, guys, down here, that all this is right. Now the other thing which I'll do, I'll put this like this, and I'll put this like this, and then I've got my gloves, so I'm just going to put these gloves on. So hopefully I've got, yeah, that should be okay. And then the gloves go up over here, and the glove goes up there, and then I'm going to put on the other glove like so. Then I'm going to go out and do my hive inspection. So like I said, I've got a table outside. That's the same table I used when I was, pardon me, propagating the plants. So I've got all that stuff there ready to go. So all I need to do is go out there, do my thing, and come back inside. So it should only take me maybe 5 to 10 minutes. But I just want to do it quickly and efficiently. So that's why I'm organized. So yeah. Anyway, that's how you put on the bee suit, for what it's worth, if you ever need to know. And I'll stop this now, recording now. I'll do my thing, and as you can see, you can know how you can work out how I put this other glove on, because it will be the same as this. All right, guys, thank you for watching.